Wow, you guys got a treat for you guys, man. Today is the White House briefing room, and it is explosive the whole entire day, guys. Caroline just dominates these journalists, eats them for dinner, and spits them out. She is a strong woman, guys.
This follows President Trump's roundtable yesterday with the Technology CEO Council here at the White House, where he met with key leaders in the technology industry. And last night, President Trump also held an official swearing-in ceremony in the Oval Office for Sean Curran, who is now the 28th Director of the United States Secret Service. Sean demonstrated unbelievable bravery under gunfire in Butler, Pennsylvania this past July when an assassin tried to kill President Trump. As someone who got to know Sean personally throughout the campaign last year, I can say unequivocally that there is nobody better suited for this important role. And following the confirmation of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRomer last night, the Senate has now confirmed 21 of President Trump's well-qualified cabinet-level nominees, far outpacing the previous administration. And looking ahead, tomorrow, the president will welcome the Taoiseach Micheál Martin of Ireland for the annual White House Shamrock ceremony. And Thursday, President Trump will welcome the NATO Secretary General for a working meeting and lunch. On the economy, February's jobs report was...
Man, there's some breaking news, guys. I just want to break in real quick. President Trump says Zelensky is invited to come back to the White House. Wow. What happened in that meeting over in Saudi Arabia? That is crazy. I was just reading on that, and I had to give that to you because that was pretty explosive. And it says President Trump has secured a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, now awaiting Russia's approval to permanently end the war. I'm telling you what, man, give that to President Trump, guys. Man, that's awesome. Here we go. Only President Trump can do that kind of stuff.
It's good news for America,
Amazing.
Particularly our manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector gained 10,000 new jobs in just 1 month under President Trump. This rebound was led by the automobile sector, where we saw 9,000 new auto jobs created already. That is the most auto jobs added to the economy in 15 months. This was a complete turnaround from the Biden administration, where we were losing an average of 9,000 manufacturing jobs per month last year. Reuters is out with a report that a number of companies are now looking at expanding their presence or bringing their businesses into America because of President Trump's policies. And just moments ago, before coming out here, I saw another report by Reuters revealing that Merck has opened a $1 billion facility at its North Carolina site. This is just the latest pharmaceutical company to boost its U.S. manufacturing in lieu of President Trump's tariffs. This announcement follows Eli Lilly's plans to invest at least $27 billion to build 4 new manufacturing plants here in the United States. And Pfizer has also said it's considering moving their manufacturing overseas right here to the United States of America. As the president has said over and over again, when we purchase products made in the USA, the profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and most importantly, the jobs stay here. And despite the globalist mainstream media's attempts to worry consumers, President Trump will not repeat the trend of past American presidents who broke their promises to the American public and smiled while they stuck a knife in the back of American workers and shipped their jobs overseas. Our country has lost more than 5 million jobs and more than 90,000 factories due to devastating globalization over the last 3 decades alone. North Carolina lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs, including 60% of its furniture manufacturing jobs in the years following NAFTA. And in Michigan, globalist policies destroyed 250,000 jobs, including 40% of the auto industry, which again we know is clawing back because of President Trump's action already. These are harrowing statistics that represent countless towns and families who have been completely destroyed. But the America Last globalist era is ending under President Trump. He will no longer allow our country and our workers, our hard-working American families, to be ripped off. On another very important issue for the president, he continues to work hard to secure the border. If you missed it yesterday, CBP launched an enhanced home mobile app with a new feature, the Intent to Depart, which offers unlawfully present aliens or those aliens whose parole has been revoked an orderly and defined process to notify the U.S. government of their intent to depart the country. The CBP Home app strengthens our mission to secure the border and provides illegal aliens with a straightforward way to leave now before facing much harsher consequences later. A new report from Bloomberg just found that the number of aliens trying to reach our country by traveling through the jungle to Central America dropped a whopping 99% last month. And this follows the incredible news that illegal border crossings plummeted last month as well, down 94% at our southern border from last February under the Biden administration. As President Trump made clear during his historic address to Congress, we must finish this job and continue to carry out the largest deportation campaign in American history.
That's exactly right. Why would you not want to get these people out of there? They're illegal immigrants. I've said this in many different videos. Why keep them in America when they're hurting all kinds of jobs and the economy? Come back illegally.
History. And that is why the president fully endorses the continuing resolution that is before Congress and was negotiated by Speaker Johnson. He is encouraging all Republicans to vote yes on this clean CR, which freezes funding at current levels and will prevent the Democrats from getting their long-awaited government shutdown. Voting against this CR will hurt the American people and kill the incredible momentum that President Trump has built over the past 51 days.
Yeah, I wish we can just never have these things. It seemed like before, when I was younger as a kid, I never really remember. It just seems like these things come up very often.
And lastly, before I take questions, I would like to commend the Washington Post, who I believe is in the room today. According to a new report from Axios, the Washington Post is overhauling their newsroom structure.
Good.
It appears that the mainstream media, including the Post, is finally learning that having disdain for more than half of the country who supports this president does not help you sell newspapers. It's not a very good business model.
That's right. You go woke, you go broke. Yep. Goodbye. See ya. Woke is gone.
And that's why we have people in our new media seat. And today we have Sargar Anetti, who is the host of Breaking Points, a popular political YouTube news and podcast show that has racked up nearly...
Man, that would be awesome. I wish I can get invited to the White House press briefing room. That would be sweet. Maybe one day. Please like, subscribe, and share. That would be awesome.
1 billion views on YouTube, several hundred million podcast downloads since its launch in June 2021. He's also a former member of the White House Correspondents Association, but is now a part of the thriving independent media. We're very happy to have you with us here today. Why don't you kick off our briefing? Thank you.
Really appreciate you having me, Caroline. A couple of questions for you.
That's impressive, guys. I have 396 of you guys out there. That's impressive.
If I may. First is first on the stock market. So currently it's the 25th anniversary today of the dot-com bubble crash. There's a lot of concern for a lot of Americans right now about the state of the economy. President Trump has refused to rule out a recession. Secretary Lutnick, however, has told us there will not be one. So can the White House just tell...
He'd never refused anything. He said he don't think there is. In fact, I don't think that was his words. It was like more to the fact that there wasn't going to be one. You can say whatever you want. Not right.
And assure Americans today that there's not going to be a recession.
There won't be.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So let me start by saying that, first of all, when it comes to the stock market, the numbers that we see today, the numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition. We are in a period of transition from the mess that was created under Joe Biden in the previous administration.
Yeah, we've been Democrats. You're so fucking retarded. He's been in office 3 fucking months, and you're complaining about he hasn't got shit done. He's trying to clean up the damn mess from your damn president that was been sleeping for 4 freaking years. Don't give us any damn shit. Go back to sleeping. Where were you the last 4 years when your crazy ass freaking president is in swimming pools talking to Corn Pop was a bad dude? Yeah. Don't talk to me about whose president is good. You voted for Joe Biden. Kamala Harris, she's garbage. She slept with a freaking married man from California. Yeah, go check that out. You probably don't want to hear about that.
Joe Biden left this country in an economic disaster.
That's exactly right.
Several statistics to point out.
Disaster.
The delinquency rate on credit card loans increased 63% under Joe Biden.
You don't care about that anyway.
Hitting a near 12-year high.
Care less.
Under
All
Joe
you wanna do is
Biden,
bitch and
all net
complain.
job growth went to foreign-born Americans. Real wages declined by 1.5% under Joe Biden. And as we all know, and this administration continues to combat, prices soared more than 20% under Joe Biden because of his reckless spending and economic policies. So we are in a period of transition from that economic nightmare under a president who had no idea what he was doing,
That's
never held a
right.
private sector job in his life, into a golden age of American manufacturing under a businessman and a deal maker in chief in President Donald J. Trump, who is implementing the formula that we know works. Look at President
right.
Trump's results in his first term. If people are looking for certainty, they should look at the record of this president. That's why the American people reelected him back to this office. And look at everything that President Trump has
Yes, with a majority.
already done and his team has already done in just 51 days. The massive efforts to deregulate, tax cuts, which we need Congress to pass the Trump economic agenda, the Trump tax cuts, which will unleash economic growth. And the president also addressed this directly, I will point out as well, when you look at what he said on Air Force One, and he said he wants
up.
the American people to have so much money in their pockets they don't even know what to do with it. That's the intent of this administration, and we're working very hard every day on that goal.
Second question.
Non-stops, hardly any sleep, and he's trying to get you the most freaking money in your pocket. Yeah, you Democrats need to shut the hell up.
On the CR. So President Trump came out today in a primary challenge against Congressman Thomas Massey. Congressman Massey's been a supporter of DOGE. He's been a supporter of Make America Healthy Again. What kind of message is this White House sending against a congressman who's sticking up for principles that he's long held?
We voted for Donald Trump. We didn't vote for Massey. We voted for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump says, Massey, you will do what I fucking, excuse me, if you do what I say. The American people voted for me, not you. When has Donald Trump been wrong? Hardly ever.
In the chamber and voting against continuing resolution and spending.
I think the president has made it very clear that he believes it's critical for conservatives and Republicans and frankly all members of Congress to get behind this continuing resolution to keep the government funded. The president wants to continue the momentum that he has built over the last 51 days. In order to keep the government funded, we got to keep moving with these deportations, and he believes that everybody needs to get on board with this bill. He's been active in this process. He's been making calls to get this over the finish line, and we're urging every Republican and Democrats too to do what's right for the American public to prevent a government shutdown.
Just the last question here on Mahmoud Khalil. Does the administration believe that it needs to charge a green card holder with a crime to be eligible for deportation?
Well, in fact, Secretary Rubio reserves the right to revoke the visa of Mahmoud Khalil, and I'm glad you brought this up. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals who serve or are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States of America.
Yep.
And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges.
Yep.
And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists. Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. And I have those flyers on my desk. They were provided to me by the Department of Homeland Security. I thought about bringing them into this briefing room to share with all of you, but I didn't think it was worth the dignity of this room to bring that pro-Hamas propaganda. But that's what this individual distributed on the campus of Columbia University. And this administration is not going to tolerate individuals having the privilege of studying in our country and then siding with pro-terrorist organizations that have killed Americans. We have a zero tolerance policy for siding with terrorists, period. Peter Ducey.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Caroline. So you said that the Dow dropping and dropping and dropping is a period of transition. You're sure nobody here at the White House shorted the Dow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But is there any concern here that it's going to...
I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I could say 5 or 6 different big billionaires saying, let's just drop. But I don't know how it works. That's probably not the case.
It's going to be harder to ask certain federal workers to retire if they look at their retirement accounts and they're getting robbed every day.
Well, I'm glad you brought up workers, because that's exactly who President Trump is looking out for with his America First trade policy and his America First economic agenda. And if you look at, there's great indication to be optimistic about where the economy stands. And the American people, investors, CEOs, small business owners, but most importantly, workers, should bet on President Trump, because his tariff policies, what he envisions is reciprocity, fair trade practices where American workers are put first and are no longer ripped off by foreign countries all over this world.
President Trump says he's going to buy a Tesla today. Did he buy it?
I got a video.
And when is the last time he drove a car?
I got that on video.
That's a very good question. I have heard the president remark that he misses being able to drive, that luxury of driving his own vehicle. Although the beast is nice, but he is going to be viewing a Tesla that is making its way to the White House complex now, I can confirm. Perhaps the press pool today will have an opportunity to witness this very exciting moment later this afternoon. But a Tesla is on its way here now, and we'll see if the president likes it when he checks it out.
So they're bringing him a Tesla to look at, and if he likes it, he's just going to buy it.
You know, he's definitely going to buy one, but he'll take a look at it when it gets here later this afternoon.
Full retail?
Yes, full market price.
That's
Kelly.
Awesome.
Can we talk about Canada?
Yeah,
what is the status of President Trump having a conversation with Mark Carney? We have seen the president use the term governor to refer to Justin Trudeau. Will that moniker also go to Mr. Carney going forward? And is the decision to increase the tariffs, is that based on a specific economic metric that he looked at? Is it impulse? How would you describe his reaction to candidates?
The president has not yet spoken to Mr. Carney, not since I checked, which was just moments ago. But certainly his phone is always open to leaders who wish to speak with him. As for the tariffs, the president...
As far as I'm aware, he did have a conversation with him, and Trump said it was a good phone call. So that's about it, because he was checking out the car, but the Tesla, but it's linked down below. You'll see. Just watch that video.
Made his position on this quite clear with the statement that he put out. And it was a retaliatory statement due to the escalation of rhetoric that we've seen out of Ontario, Canada. The president saw the premier, Doug Ford, make an egregious and insulting comment threatening to shut down electricity for the American people, for hardworking American families. He made that threat. The president saw that and has an obligation and a responsibility to respond accordingly and represent the interests of the American people. So he has made the decision to add a 25% tariff. So now steel and aluminum tariffs will come into effect tomorrow at the rate of 50%. And our steel and aluminum industries have actually applauded these tariffs because, again, they know it's going to grow their industry here. It's going to allow them to export more steel that is made right here in the United States with American workers.
Yeah, exactly right. It's probably going to hurt short term, but I'm willing to take some of those, because our country is overweight and we need to cut the fat. However, we got to do it. Donald Trump is the businessman, and he knows what he's doing.
And insulting are your words here, but that's what many Canadian leaders have said about the actions President Trump has taken toward Canada. And
Are these guys Canadians or are they American? It seems like, I'm just saying, most of these reporters seem to be freaking anti-American. I mean, they're so negative. It's unreal. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the description below. What do you guys think of all these news media? They just seem, I don't know.
what do you think the timeline is for speaking to Mr. Carney? Because normally a sitting president speaks to a close ally very quickly when there's new leadership.
Well, the president is, again, responding to the fact that Canada has been ripping off the United States of America and hardworking Americans for decades. If you look at the rates of tariffs across the board that Canadians have been imposing on the American people and our workers here, it is egregious. In fact, I have a handy-dandy chart here that shows not just Canada, but the rate of tariffs across the board. If you look at Canada, since you brought it up, American cheese and butter, nearly 300% tariff. You look at India, 150% tariff on American alcohol. You think that's helping Kentucky bourbon be exported into India? I don't think so. 100% tariff on agricultural products from India. Look at Japan, tariffing rice, 700%. President Trump believes in reciprocity, and it is about dang time that we have a president who actually looks out for the interests of American businesses.
Cha-ching. She hit it right on the dang nose. It's about damn time we have a president that actually gives a shit. And you Democrats should just sit on the sideline and just bitch this whole 4 years, because all I hear is a blah, 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 blah. That's all I hear. I don't have time for craziness.
And workers. And all he's asking for at the end of the day are fair and balanced trade practices. And unfortunately, Canada has not been treating us very fairly at all over the past several decades. To the woman in the purple, because I saw you were making a face at my previous answer. So what's going on?
Well, actually, I have a couple of questions.
Sorry, Caroline. I get out of
At the core of pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses and elsewhere is a demand to end the war in Gaza, a goal that this administration actually supports and has pursued. So why has this not been acknowledged or highlighted even?
Because these colleges and these protests have again put out Hamas propaganda. The flyers that have been distributed call for violence. The flyers that have been distributed have the logo of an organization that has held Americans hostage, that murdered innocent babies, that murdered men, women, and children. They are a designated foreign terrorist organization, and we are not going to tolerate non-citizens, foreigners who come here on a visa, engaging in such behavior, siding with terrorists. And the Secretary of State reserves the authority to revoke the green card or the visa of an individual who serves as an actually, it says right here, reasonable grounds to believe that the alien's presence or activities in the United States would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences to the United States. And I think siding with Hamas makes that quite clear. Secretary Rubio exercised that authority, and we fully believe that we are going to move forward with more arrests, as President Trump previewed in his statement yesterday.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Ed,
Yeah, thanks.
Go ahead.
Caroline. So are there conversations?
This administration is not screwing around. F around, find out. Everybody else is. Sounds like they're having fun. Canada.
Conversations between the administration and the Canadians going on over this tariff, because the Ontario Premier says the next step is to cut off electricity to the U.S.
And the president put out a statement after seeing those comments and said,
I mean, does the Canadian Parliament, whoever, I don't even know who it is anymore, think that they can outdo the U.S.? Is it me? I mean, according to President Trump, we don't need any of their products. Why would they even think it's smart to even just get rid of the tariffs that you already have on the U.S., make it 0-0, and then we can get along, right? He said reciprocal tariffs. So if you go 0 tariffs on America, we will go 0 on you. That's common sense. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much probably will happen. But
that it would be there would be grave consequences imposed on Canada if they think about shutting off electricity for the United States of America and our citizens. And the president is also determined to ensure that we are depending on American electricity, not the electricity production of foreign nations, including.
Do you see what Donald Trump is actually doing here? We're getting in 3 different states, New York, Michigan, and I believe it was Minnesota, is getting it from Canada. He wants us to get it from within the United States. How hard is that? It's make America great again.
Including our allies in Canada. As for conversations, there is continued correspondence between the president's team, particularly Secretary Lutnick, and the Canadians as well.
And in the market reaction, how do you sell to the American people then after they're looking at what's happening in the markets this week and say that the tariff policy long term is something good?
Well, just think.
Tariffs has been implemented before, and it was amazing times. So, yeah, I'm willing to give it a shot, because if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, yeah, I'm willing to take that chance and risk.
Think about what the tariff policy long-term will do for our country. I think many of us probably grew up in small towns. I know at least I did, and the main street in my small town looks a heck of a lot worse than it probably did decades ago before I was alive. At least my parents and grandparents tell me so. And I know many Americans feel that same way. What the president envisions for this country is for the United States of America to be a manufacturing superpower where there are American factories and businesses owned.
Yeah, but the left doesn't want that. They don't. And that's funny to me that they just want to stay broke and poor and, have pink hair and see men and women's sports and, you will obey to transgenderism. Yeah, you can get that shit out of here.
Owned by Americans, producing goods that we are exporting to the rest of the world. Those revenues will stay here. It will increase wages for people here in our great country. It will ensure our national security, and it will boost the morale of the American people to have thriving industries again. Think about Detroit, Michigan. Think about North Carolina.
If that happens, like I said, there will cease to exist. The Democrat Party will cease to exist. If we have such a booming economy, they don't want that.
Carolina, as I mentioned, that used to have a thriving furniture industry that no longer exists because of the globalist trade policies of previous and past administrations. And the American people gave the president a tremendous opportunity to restore American greatness and restore our manufacturing dominance, and he's intent on doing just that. John.
Will.
Thanks, Caroline. 2 questions for you. First, on the CR, you put up on the screen the president's message to Republicans to support this continuing resolution. Is there outreach to Democrats? Because what we've seen since the beginning of the fiscal year is that in order to get a continuing resolution, you need bipartisan support and you need compromise.
Well, right now, we are focused on House Republicans and on the House, because that's the first step, as you know, John. And so the president has engaged in correspondence with House Republicans, whipping votes and getting them to a yes, which I understand has been pretty successful this morning thus far. And so, again, the president is encouraging Republicans especially, but again, as I said, all members of Congress to vote to continue funding this government so we can continue the business of the American people, which elected President Trump to do.
And then on financial markets.
You know, that's one thing I can sure give the Democrats. They stick together. I don't care if it's right or wrong. They stick together. They literally will stay on the same team, whether it's a wrong decision or not. But the funny thing is once we do that, they freak out. The left freaks out. I don't know if you guys know that or recognize it, but I sure recognize it. They just freak out. It's pretty crazy. If you guys stayed this long, will you guys please like and subscribe and share this video? That'd be awesome.
So we've seen this decline yesterday. We see it today as well. It seems that the read on the president's policies is one in which they do not have confidence in his trade tariffs policy. They do not have confidence in what the president said to Fox News over the weekend, that he didn't rule out the idea of a recession. What is your read in terms of the decline that we've seen over the last week and a half in financial markets?
I got to play this one little clip here real quick. This thing is awesome. I seen this from Donald Trumpo on X. If you guys don't know him, go listen, watch him. This is hilarious.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
As I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, our country will be made wealthy again, and I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
Now I'm going back here because we're gonna see that here very soon. She's gonna get that question. It's hilarious. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Well, I think there's actually a lot of reason to be confident, and many people do feel confident. Just look at the nearly $2 trillion in private investment that this president has secured. Look at the comments made by the CEO of Apple, one of the biggest companies in this world, who said that he is bullish on the future of American innovation under the leadership of President Trump. Look at CEO confidence. According to the Conference Board measure of CEO confidence, in Q1 2025, under the leadership of this president, it jumped to its highest level in 3 years, from cautious optimism to confident optimism. If you, again, look at the $2 trillion in investments from some of the biggest companies in the world. Look at the jobs report last Friday. As I also cited in my opening remarks, Fox Business reported that Trump sees a manufacturing boom in first full jobs report of his second term. Look at the auto jobs that have already poured back into America. We added 9,000 new auto jobs. Those are sticky jobs. Those are good paying jobs. That's 9,000 American families who will now be able to live the American dream because of the policies of this administration. You also look at small business optimism. The NFIB put out a report this morning. Small business optimism continues to be far higher than it ever was under the previous administration. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic. And again, the American people, CEOs and people on Wall Street and on Main Street should bet on this president. He is a deal maker, he is a businessman, and he's doing what's right for our country. He wants to restore wealth to the United States of America.
That's exactly right, guys. And the cool thing about it is he's out there for the American people, and the Democrats just don't like it. And it's tough for them. But I'm going to skip down to the end. and then we'll finish this off.
Do you own your own home in Michigan and are still paying for electricity?
go on to
You
the
could be
next.
missing out on free government assistance to go solar.
Past this.
Back to you. Dasha. Dasha, go ahead.
Karoline, you did a great job articulating the vision that President Trump has for what he believes his tariffs can do in terms of bringing jobs back to the United States. I asked you last week about how much Americans might need to buckle up for some short-term pain, a conversation that with the president.
I mean, who's out there willing to buckle up a little bit and take a little bit of pain to get this country back in line for our grandkids and our great grandkids? I fought for this country, and I want to see it succeed. Some of the kids nowadays, all they want to do is bitch moan about, I don't know, Elon Musk getting their freaking social security number or something like that. It's sort of stupid, really.
President and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent have had with the people. I'm wondering, how high is the pain threshold for President Trump and for this White House as you watch some of the turbulence in the stock markets, as you field concerns from businesses and potentially see some of those approval ratings drop in the short term? How much is he willing to stomach that, and will he stay committed?
Well, first of all, his approval ratings will not fall at all. In fact, every day they keep going up and up and up. But you leftists don't like that. So they're going to spread lies, and that's all they do is lie.
Committed to his vision for tariffs, even as all of this comes up?
Well, the president has been working hard every single day to alleviate the pain that was inflicted by the previous administration through massive deregulation, through drill baby drill, as we like to call it, unleashing the might of our energy industry, which we know will ultimately drive down costs for consumers here at home. And again, as I mentioned, the president is intent on signing tax cuts for the American people to put more money back into their pockets, which will ultimately unlock consumer confidence. And again, I'll reiterate the president's words in layman's terms as he does best. The president wants the American people to have so much more money in their pockets they don't know what to do with it. That's the goal of this administration, through tariffs, through tax cuts, through deregulation, and through unleashing the potential of our energy industry. I have two more quick notes before.
And it's going to be amazing. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Because arguing with you for 4 years, it's going to be a long one. Well, I don't think it's going to be 4 years, because eventually I would hope that you would open up your eyes and see the goodness of what's really going on. And if you can't do that in the next 4 years, I feel bad for you. I feel sorry for you, really.
Before I wrap up, April 28th, I can confirm that the Philadelphia Eagles will be here at the White House to celebrate their Super Bowl victory. I know there was a lot of fake news about an invitation that wasn't sent or was sent. We want to correct the record. We sent an invitation. They enthusiastically accepted, and you will see them here on April 28th. And lastly, on a sad note, I would like to express our condolences to Fox News and to the entire Fox family who did lose a cameraman, Craig Savage, who passed away at 61 years old recently. A very tragic death, an individual who was a great man and covered this building for many, many years. So the entire press office, the communications office here wants to express our condolences with his family and also with Fox News. And I'll see you guys later. Perhaps you'll see the president in a Tesla later this afternoon. Have a good one.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Hey, I just want to say that was amazing. That was awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. And then please like and subscribe, and we'll get you guys out here and to the next video we go. See you next time. Thank you very, very much. My computer's off.